Right, in this video we will start working on our player health. For that we need to have some obstacles. Right now we only have this cube. Let me find if we have something better in the platformer starter pack. We will go in prefabs, environment, and indeed we have quite few obstacles right here, which we can use. Obviously we will work on obstacles a little bit more later, but for now let's find something. For example, these prop 6, which is box. Let's drop them in the scene. I will unpack them, so I will right click, prefab, unpack completely, and let's name it box. Okay. uh, let me hit F to zoom in. I think it needs to be a little bit larger, so I will make it 3 by 3 by 3. Maybe a little bit more, 5 on the all of the axes. uh, let's see. Yeah, I think 5 is fine. Obviously this box needs to have collider, so let's click add components. I will find box, I will say box collider, and this box collider will be added, obviously, which is exactly what we want. And for now it's completely fine. Obviously we will need to work a little bit um, on this um, collider, on this box later, but for now what I want to do, I will activate is trigger option. And now without is trigger option we will have actual physical interaction with the box, so our car, our vehicle will crash into this box. That's not what I want. What I want is that I want Unity to detect collision between our player and between our obstacle, between our box, but without actual physical interaction. So that's why is trigger option is there. So let's activate this trigger option. Okay. And for now, what I will do, I will duplicate this box with the Control and D. I will place few boxes around, for example, one right here and one right here. For now, 3 boxes will do. Um, and now let's go and create script which allows us to detect, which allows us to have a health system. So in the scripts, let's right click, create mono behavior script. Let's call this one player health. Again, with a capital letter and without any kind of space in the name of the script. And well, we will assign this player help script into the player as well. Let's drag and drop into the player. Let's double click to open in Visual Studio and let's start working. Well, we will need to have few variables. So let's say public int. We will want variable for our current health. We can use comma and create other variables if they have same type, so if they are all integers, and I will do that. Comma max health, comma damage amount. This will be amount that we will detect, that we will decrease our current health with, this damage amount. So when the game starts, we want to start with the maximum amount of health. So we can say current health equals max health in the void start and semicolon at the end. Okay. Now we will create our own public function. So make sure that you are inside this closing loop of the script. We will say public void. Let's call this one deal damage. And let's open and close curly brackets. Now, what we want to have here, we want to decrease our current health by damage amount. For that, we can say current health minus equals damage amount. What is this minus equals? Oh, minus equals is same as to say current health equals current health minus damage amount. So those two lines are same. First one is just shorter and more professional, so we will use minus equals. Okay. Also, we need to say logic, what should happen when our health gets to zero. So if our current health is less or equal to zero, and open and close curly brackets, something should happen. Well, basically here we will have game over screen appears or restarting mechanics. But for now, before we do anything, we can say game object dot set active false. With this game object dot set active, we will just hide our player from the scene. Okay, and for now it will be fine. Now let's save this script with the Control and S or Command and S if you are on Mac. Now that we have this deal damage mechanics all done, we need to call this deal damage from somewhere, from the specific for the specific situation when our player will touch the box. Okay, for that we will need to create another script, and also we will need help of tag system. What is this tag? If we select player, you will see up top we have tag and layer. Now they are just like categories, and we can create different tags and different layers, assign them in the different game objects, and use them in the scripts. For example, if we select player and if we scroll down this tag, Unity already has this player tag which we can use. So let's select this player tag. This way our player tag will be assigned to our vehicle. It's very important. If for some reason you don't see this player tag, don't worry, you can click add tag, you can click plus and create that tag, and then you will be able to assign that player tag to your vehicle. Now, let's go in scripts and let's create another script. Let's call this one damage player. And in this case, we will assign this damage player into our boxes, into our obstacles. So let it compile, and I will drop the script into my boxes, in all of them. And let's double click to open it in Visual Studio. Now here we will use special method with the name of onTriggerEnter. We can click enter and it should auto compile. If for some reason in your case it's not auto compiling, you can type it by hand manually. So what we have here, we have this onTriggerEnter, which will be called when something will trigger collider of this box. You remember we made collider of the box triggered. Okay, to make everything more specific, we can use our tag that we created for our player. We can say if other dot game object dot tag double equals, and in quotation marks we can say name of the tag, which is player with a capital P. Type it correctly, otherwise it will not work. Basically, when this happens, when our player will trigger collider of the box, when our player will touch our box, our health should decrease. Problem is that the deal damage function is in our player health script, and we are in the damage player script, so we are not able to simply say deal damage. It will not work. First, we need to get access to this player help script. Now, how to do that? First of all, we will say name of the script that we are trying to access, in this case player help. Then we need to name it something. It's just like creating variable. Let's say player help, but with lowercase p, player help, which will be our container, okay? And we can say equals other dot game object dot get component, and here in this sign we will say player health with a capital P again, brackets and semicolon. Now what is this? Basically, this will check our player, everything that is into the player will find this player help script, and we'll give this container access to our player help script. Now basically right here we can say player health with a lowercase p dot deal damage. Now we are able to successfully access our deal damage function. We can save this script and we can compile. Also, what I want to do, I want to destroy my game object after we collide with it. Okay, and to do that, we can say destroy our game object and semicolon. Let's save this script. Let's compile. Let's go back. And if we select player, we have this current health maximum damage amount. We don't need to say anything in the current health. It should be automatically assigned. I will make max health to be 5, for example, damage amount to be 1. Also, I will simply duplicate this box 2 more times, so we will have 5 boxes. Let's remove this cube. We don't need that. And now let's hit play. Let's see. I will click pause. I will select player just to show you. So we start with the 5 health, 5 current health. Let's continue. Uh, let's touch these colliders, these boxes. We have 4. Oh, we have 3. We have 2. Okay, our vehicle is really, really slow. I don't like it, but we will increase speed. And we have 1. And when we have 1, our player is hidden. So everything is pretty much working. Next step will be to actually have some kind of effects, maybe explosion effect when we touch this box might look cool. To have explosion effect, what we can do, well, first of all, we need to have effects. And I prepared these JMO assets, which we can use. And if we open these prefabs, we have different effects, including these explosion effects. And we have different explosions. So I will use the second one, second explosion. Now, but how to exactly use this explosion? Let's go and open our player help script again. And here, um, when our player gets damaged, we can use explosion effects. But also, we can use explosion effect into this damage player. I think it will be better to use it in damage player script. So right here, we will need to create variable public game object. Let's call this one explosion effect, semicolon. And here, when we get damaged, so basically after we deal damage, we can have explosion effect. Now to have this effect, we can use instantiate method. Instantiate method allows you to create different game objects in the different scenarios in your project. We can say instantiate, and in order this instantiate method to work, it needs to have few parameters. It needs to know what we are creating. We are creating an explosion effect, comma. It needs to know position. You can use our box's position. So transform.position, comma. And for the rotation, we can use quaternio.identity, which will leave original rotation of the effect. That's pretty much it. Very, very simple. We can save this script. Let it compile. Let's go back. And if we select box, we need to drop this explosion effect from here. I will drop second one. I will do exactly same for all of the boxes. Now it's not mandatory and necessary to use same effect as me. There are other effects. You can play around with them and use any of them. Okay. But main thing is that if we hit play, we should see explosion effects. Let's go, and here we go. We have a nice explosion effect. I like it. I think it looks alright. So now that we have boxes, next step will be to have visuals for the health, because right now our players really can't tell when our health is decreasing. For that, we will need to have health bar. For that, I prepared this health bar folder. It contains border elements and fill elements. Okay, and we will create simple health bar. It also means that we will need to work on Unity's UI system. Before we do that, let me tell you one thing. If we go in game view, here we have resolution. Mine is set to full HD by default, and if you are using Unity 6, I think yours will be set to same full HD, and this full HD is default resolution. Most of the games of the same type are using this resolution, so if you don't see it, if you have other resolution, just make sure to assign it to full HD. If you don't have this full HD 9020 by 1080, you can click plus and create that resolution yourself. If you are using old Unity version, your resolution by default would be set to 3 aspect ratio, and make sure to assign it to this 9020 by 1080. Okay, now to create UI, I will right click on the empty space, I will find UI, and I will create image. Okay, and I will rename this image to be border. When we create UI element, it creates canvas and event system. If we go in scene view, if we select canvas and hit F, we will see that we have this script. Basically, this is canvas panel, and we will store everything, every UI element into this canvas panel, including our border. Now in the canvas, let's change UI scale mode to be scale with screen size 9020 by 1080, which is our resolution, in order everything to be fine. Now this border, it's up to you where you want to place your border. I will place it at the uh, top left side, and I will resize it. If we go in game view, this is how it looks like. Obviously, we don't want to have white image. It's boring. That's exactly we have these borders, these models, right? So we will select border, and here in the source image, we can drop any border that we want. For example, like this, and I will select set native size. Okay, and now I will resize it to from the scaling however we want, however I want, just like so. I think it will be fine. Let me move it a little bit on the left side. Okay, it looks all right. Now in the canvas, I will right click, and I will create empty game object with the name of health bar. And this health bar will handle all of our health bar elements. Now, in order everything to work, we need to select this health bar, and we need to take this health bar, which is empty game object, but it has this border still, probably you are able to see, and I will take it here, and I will make sure that border of this health bar is exactly same as our border. Okay, we can select the rect tool. We can resize our border just like this, so it will match our border. You don't need to be super precise, just try your best, just like so. Okay, now what I will do, I will drop this border game object inside this health bar, so it will be child of this health bar. You see, this health bar now has this drop down, and inside we have this border. And let's select the health bar. I will select these anchor points right here, and I will select this top left. This way our health bar will be attached to this left corner. We are doing that because if Our game will be played in different resolution. We want our health bar to still appear in the top left. So we are attaching these to top left. All right. So now in the health bar, let's right click, create, no, we'll go in UI image, and I will say, I will rename it to be fill. Okay. I will select anchor points. I will hold down Alt and the stretched all the way. Okay. And before I do anything, what I will do, I will just select recto and resize it so it will match our health bar. It will be fill elements which should be inside this border. We can go in game view to see how it looks like. Obviously we don't need to have this white image, so we will drop this red image instead there in the source image. Here we go. Now we have this red image. We can resize if we don't like something. I think it looks all right. Now, also we will select this image type and we will select fill method to be horizontal. And yeah, here we go. Now, in the health bar, let's select health bar. Let's click add components and we will add slider there. Slider is main component basically, and into the slider we need to drop this fill rect, so our fill element there. I will select max value to be 5. I will select only whole numbers, and we have value, which is slider. As you see, it slides up and down. By default I will make it to max. And now we need some way to connect this slider, our health bar, with our health mechanics, right? You see we have this max value and value. Those are main components of our health bar. We need to connect this max value and value with our current health, which we have in the player help script. How to do that? First of all, we will need to have new C# script. So new mono behavior script. Let's call this one health bar. Let it compile. I will assign this health bar into the health bar game object. So let's drag and drop inside this health bar. Let's double click to open in Visual Studio. Now, into this health bar, what we need to have visual reference to our slider. For that, up top, we should import libraries, UI libraries. So we will say using Unity Engine dot UI and semicolon. Now, right here, we can say public slider. Let's name it slider with the lowercase s. Now, we don't need this void start and void update in this case. Instead, we will create two public functions. One will be for the max value, one will be for the value. So, public void, let's call it set max health. And in brackets, I will create one placeholder integer with the name of health with the lowercase h. I will explain you why we need it very shortly. Public void set health, and as a placeholder again I will create same health integer, and here we can access our slider, and we can say slider dot max value equals health, which is our placeholder integer, and slider dot value equals health as well, and semicolon. And right here, to update everything correctly, we can say slider.value equals health. Okay, now what we are doing at all. As I told you, we need to connect this max value and value to our current health. Since those ones are in different scripts, we need some placeholder for now to use right here. This health is just placeholder. It doesn't have any more mission. Its only task is to act like placeholder in this case. Now, let's save this script, and we need to access this script from our player help script. So up top, what we can do, we can say public name of the script, which is health bar. Let's call this one health bar with a lowercase h, semicolon at the end. And as I told you, we need to connect this current health with our values. So after our current health dot max health, we can say health bar dot set max health. And now in brackets, instead of this placeholder health, we can use current health. This way, our current health will be connected to max health. That's exactly why we needed this placeholder. And to update everything correctly, after we get damaged, we can say health bar dot set health, in this case current health in the brackets, semicolon. And that's pretty much it. We can basically save this script, sorry, and everything will work fine. But before we test, we need to assign few things. So in the help bar, we need to drop our slider. So let's take slider, let's drop it here. Let's select player, and into the player health, we need to drop our health bar game object. Okay. Now let's save this scene. Let's press play and let's test. So when the game starts, we have maximum health, and then our health is decreasing slowly. So it means that everything is indeed working. Two more. One and two. Here we go. Everything is working fine. We can save this scene.